Hey guys, TazzyPhe here. How is it going? For those of you who've already watched my channel, you probably already know that my country of origin is Pakistan. As a Pakistani who grew up most of my life in the US, I've always had an uncomfortable relationship with the wealth disparity as well as the political relations between the two countries. And in big moments, in current events where those things are brought to light, it's hard not to feel guilty for the things that you feel are an injustice to your motherland. I remember asking someone who was older than me, who grew up with a similar story, how she comes to terms with the fact that she basically lives in and benefits from living in the Fire Nation. She responded by telling me that she sees herself as someone who lives in the belly of the beast. And although sometimes thinking like that helps, I feel that there are other times where that's just not enough. Like with recent events that happened in Pakistan, for example.
A humanitarian disaster of epic proportions.
And for those of you who are not aware of what's happened in Pakistan, I mean, how do you not know? The country has been devastated by recent flooding after severe monsoon rainfall overflowed dams and banks. Whole villages were washed away, and the floods have heavily affected people who were the most vulnerable. So the flooding has also increased the risk of waterborne illnesses and has affected 33 million people, half of whom are children. According to the UN, by September 9th, more than 664,000 people were sheltering in displacement camps, with many lacking access to adequate shelter, food, water, and sanitation. According to a recent article by NPR, scientists have found that it is very likely that climate change is the reason for all of the extra rain and heavy flooding in the country. So let's take a second to talk about what climate change is. Climate change refers to long-term shifts in temperature and weather patterns, and these shifts may be natural. It could be just variations in the solar cycle, but since the 1800s, human beings have actually been the #1 cause and the main driver of climate change, primarily due to using things like fossil fuels, coal, oil, and gas. Burning fossil fuels generates greenhouse gases that act like a blanket. You know, when you get really hot in a blanket, this is one that we can't just take off. Energy, industry, transport, buildings, agriculture, these are all main reasons that this is happening. So when we're talking about Pakistan, 1/3 of the country is actually underwater at the moment, and it's the worst flooding in history.
And the government estimates losses of around $30 billion.
So this is a really big deal. And this kind of leads to a question that I've been thinking about, you know, should wealthy countries pay for climate assistance to these other countries? And in my opinion, I think they should be. Now, when it comes to the USA, the current administration has added over $11 billion, a new pledge to quadruple international climate finance. And personally, I think that the US should be doing stuff like that. But for you guys as audience members, I would really just encourage you guys to speak out and get educated on these topics, and also, you know, talk about what you think. Do you think that wealthy countries should be paying for these things? Make your own impact in your own way. Part of the problem, from what I've read online, is that there has been a lot of money promised to developing nations, but those promises were not kept. Honestly, before this video, I didn't even know any of this information, so I encourage you all to also go out and read things for yourself. Try to stay away from misinformation. That's a big thing on the internet these days. But yeah, speak out on these issues. Especially when it comes to climate change, I think it's very easy to feel helpless. You feel like this issue is so big and out of your control. Like, you know, all that straw shaming of your friends. Did it save the turtles? Who knows? As soothing as that was at one time, once you realize how massive the problem is, it's easy to get this sense of paralysis. It's like this impending climate doom, and it makes you feel like you can't really do anything. And when we think of climate change, especially with such hot summers that we were experiencing, you know, climate doom comes to mind, and it is the phrase to describe that paralysis that you feel when you feel like as an individual we don't really make a difference. Although I feel like corporations and a lot of these bigger entities are really responsible and should have more of the responsibility, I think that, you know, when we look at it, you know, the way that you vote, when you look at legislation that's been passed, that also also matters a lot. Like, for example, in the state of California, they signed a bill which states that 30% of plastic items that are sold or bought have to be recyclable by 2028. And so the economic responsibility falls on those who are creating the plastic materials as opposed to us. But, you know, the manufacturers have to pay for that. So don't feel like you're helpless. And yes, these floods have been devastating to Pakistan's already weakened economy and health. I would also encourage you guys to donate to campaigns by organizations that are reputable to help some of these people. So for me personally, I've been working with Muslim Aid USA, and so I'm gonna link one of their campaigns down in the video description, so you guys can go ahead and check that out and donate as you will. So this is a short video. That's not a lot. I didn't really dig deep into anything, but it's something I've been thinking about. I'm kind of late on everything as usual. Like, it's a good thing I'm not like a news YouTuber, because I'm kind of slow on things. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. You know, it wasn't just kind of like an entertainment video, but anyway, yeah, like, comment, subscribe, check out the links in the video description, and you know, maybe one day I'll dig deeper into these topics to make a video that's maybe a little bit longer. Anyway, that's all for now. Thank you guys so much for watching. TazzyPhe out. Bye.